Okay, we got a lot of stupid to cover, so let's get started with a bit of my own. What did I do? Well, I got involved in an internet discussion, otherwise known as time vampire disease, and it all started when a good friend of mine posted this little beauty. So it reads, I'm going to repost this periodically. Donald Trump was briefed about coronavirus almost 3 months ago. He called it a hoax, a conspiracy theory, and then chose to ignore it. You see a lot of these things out there with the same basic theme. So, what's the problem? Well, there's quite a few problems actually, but not the least of which is that since Trump actually did something back in January, that is, he made the travel ban on China, it doesn't logically make sense to say, and then chose to ignore it. It's just, at least not without a time machine. Well, my trying to point this out did not result in clarity or increased understanding of the world or super friendship or anything like that. No, no, no. It resulted in a long winded, long keyboarded episode of internet lawyering, um, which is honestly more of a fiasco of time wasting than anything else. And but to be fair, I don't want to be all on my side. To be fairly unfair, I will share part of my friend's rebuttal. Let's see what he had to say. A person, Trump, does understand that a virus exists, yet uses languages and messages that ignorantly downplay, hide, and misrepresent the importance of that virus. And by using messages like hoax and the idea that the virus will disappear like a miracle, which will obstruct the USA's response to this virus, thereby causing me and the rest of the country great harm. Well then, I stand corrected. It's all a conspiracy to ruin your life. Well, I'm afraid to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that my friend has tested positive. No, not for COVID-19. I'm afraid it's something much worse. He's got TDS, and there's no cure in sight. Let us pray. Speaking of TDS, Hollywood drama queen Kathy Griffin was posting photos of herself in the hospital wearing a face mask and complaining that she wanted to be tested for COVID-19 and blaming Trump that she didn't get the test. Well, symptoms of COVID-19 include dry cough, chest pain, and trouble breathing. Griffin didn't have any of those, so she was treated for an abdominal infection and sent home. We can only hope the next time she shows up at the hospital is with her own severed head. Although, to be honest, at this point, I'm not sure anyone could tell the difference. Sweden has announced new restrictions on foreigners trying to enter their country from outside the European Union in order to control the coronavirus. But good news, asylum seekers will be exempt from the border controls. Like this poor little girl. You can tell she's a girl because of the little pink wristwatch here. Oh, isn't that cute? Some town in New Jersey just passed an ordinance saying it's okay for mosques to broadcast the call to prayer 5 times a day, beginning at 6 a.m. As someone who spent a week in Turkey during Ramadan, all I can say is big mistake. Say goodbye to sleep, not to mention social civility. I'll tell you what, in a year or two, there's going to be in the news, there's going to be a mosque fire in New Jersey. Don't say I didn't warn you. Up in New York, another Muslim leader is demanding that women cover their ears, necks, wrists, and ankles, as showing these body parts is disgusting and playing games with God like Jews. Well, there you have it, ladies. Cover up your ankles, or you're an Islamophobe, or an anti-Semite, or something. I don't know. Cover that shit up. Over in Paris, police are having problems with recent migrants obeying the curfew orders. Turns out they just don't want to go home. It turns out, it's almost like different cultures have different ideas about obeying the law. Gosh, what a surprise. It's too bad nobody could have predicted this. And in tech news, Joe Biden just discovered that there are ways of teleconferencing between people in different locations. Wow. Welcome to 1995. But, in a totally unrelated comment, what happened to Biden's head? I mean, did they try to iron out his wrinkles here or put some staples in there? Seriously, what the hell is that? Never mind. So Congress passed a stimulus plan last week God, I hate that word, but among other things, it's supposed to create a new digital dollar. Oh, that's just fantastic. It used to be that a dollar wasn't worth the money it was printed on, and now it won't be worth the money that it isn't printed on. That's progress. So House Democrats added about 1,000 pages of bullshit to this supposed stimulus. Funds that include a diversity and inclusion department for 5 years. Yes, if we only had more trans Aboriginal midgets, then COVID-19 will be solved, people. Oh, companies would also have to produce racial reports to the government, reporting the skin color and sex of their board of directors. And the document uses the word diversity 60 times. And what does any of that have to do with curing a virus? Who knows? Well, House Democrat James Clyburn knows. As he put it, "This is a chance to restructure things to fit our vision." Well, there you have it. It's not about solving the problem of the virus or helping people out. It's a chance to spread your vision. These fucking communists never change. Is it any wonder that Congress is so despised? Honestly, the whole thing is a fiasco. The whole thing, the Democrats, the Republicans, the whole spending money to fight germs idiocy is, the sooner there's an accidental drone strike on Congress, the better. Well, the New York Times is in full spin doctor mode. Well, obviously, they're always in spin doctor mode, but you usually can't see it happen. But in this case, they were changing a headline. So they started off with a headline that said, "Democrats block action on 1.8 trillion stimulus." Well, turns out their donors didn't like that, so they changed the headline. "Democrats block action on stimulus plan. Seeking worker protections." Oh, they're so swell. Well, that wasn't good enough, so they changed it again. "Partisan divide threatens deal on rescue bill." Yep, gotta leave it open to being the Republicans' fault. Good job, New York Times. You're the best. Well, New York Governor Cuomo has been quite vocal lately, complaining about New York's lack of ventilators and blaming it all on, a drumroll please, Donald Trump. But it turns out that Cuomo was advised about this lack of ventilators way back in 2015. And instead of making the purchase, he diverted funds to a solar panel factory in Buffalo. The factory is now bankrupt, but yeah, it's all Trump's fault. I heard they're talking about making Cuomo the Democratic candidate because he's so presidential. Good luck with that. In Massachusetts, the previously saviors of the world, the reusable shopping bag, has now been banned, apparently to prevent people from carrying COVID-19 germs into the supermarket on their filthy bags. And what's the solution? Yep, plastic bags are now the new superheroes. Gosh, this saving the planet business is complicated. Ah, yes, it was only a matter of time for the feminazis to have their say on the coronavirus, with this one claiming that COVID-19 affects mostly women, despite 70% of victims being men. Apparently, mathematics is not a part of the feminazi curriculum. Not even a lethal pandemic can eradicate hardcore narcissism. And feminists see sexism everywhere but in the mirror. So some moron kid licked a toilet seat and got sick, what a surprise, while some other moron kid was licking toilet paper down at the Walmart and got arrested as a terrorist. Attention, Walmart shoppers. Please visit the condom aisle before making any more moron kids. Oops, too late. Some woman had a baby in Walmart while shopping for toilet paper. We're doomed. And yet another medical emergency. The ever-stupid Vice News reports that life-saving trans surgeries are being delayed due to the virus. Now, since when is it life-saving to have your dick cut off? And besides, it turns out there are antibacterial sex dolls available now. So you don't need to cut your dick off to be safe, silly boy. Hey, baby. Political wise guy David Frum took to Twitter to lecture people over how no one calls the Spanish flu anymore because that is just so racist. But you guessed it, it turns out that David Frum himself called it the Spanish flu just a few years back. Oh my God, what a racist. Ban David Frum. Meanwhile, over in Africa, a novel solution has been found to the novel coronavirus. Just beat to death anyone suspected of having it. And then you can list the cause of death, brick to the head. Presto, man, our COVID stats are so low, man. Don't worry, the Chinese have a solution to the problem of COVID 19 in Africa. They just say that the Africans should practice traditional Chinese medicine. So get out there and eat some bat heads and poach some rhino horns while you're at it, if you want to live. So I came across this headline a few days back and thought, oh no, that's too bad. Then I read the story and had an entirely different oh no reaction. This is fraud. The headline is intentionally misleading. The man in question ingested chloroquine phosphate, an entirely different chemical used to clean fish tanks. But in order to learn that, you'd have to read past the headline, and let's face it, most people don't. And this is not isolated. Even though Thomson Reuters is usually pretty reliable, CNN, NPR, CBS, ABC, you name it, all the same issue. In many cases, they're running quotes from the fish tank drinking idiots, telling people not to take Trump's drug. Fish tank cleaner is not Trump's drug. Now, I understand that TDS will drive people to do crazy and dishonest things, but this is really a step beyond. This kind of reporting is not an accident. It's a coordinated effort to suppress the inexpensive, readily available, unpatented treatment of COVID-19 in favor of a $100 billion payoff for a patented vaccine down the line. That's right, calling it right now. It's a conspiracy of greed disguised as do-gooderism. And look, Nevada's governor's on the payroll, banning doctors from using chloroquine. And the reason he gave? Oh, well, they want to reserve it for its labeled use for malaria. Because, there's so much malaria in Nevada. And of course, there's no shortage of internet know-it-alls repeating the party line. And guess who's partnering with Big Pharma to profit off an upcoming vaccine? You guessed it, everyone's favorite Dr. Anthony Fauci, who just can't stop talking about it. Everyone should wait for a miracle vaccine. Funny thing is, Fauci also published a paper last week in the New England Journal of Medicine where he wrote, and I quote, "This suggests that the overall clinical consequences of COVID-19 may ultimately be more akin to those of a severe seasonal influenza, which has a case fatality rate of approximately 0.1%. Okay, then why in the fuck has the whole world economy been ground to a halt for something that's as dangerous as the seasonal flu?" It's funny how he never mentions this on CNN. Now, roll up your sleeves, citizen. It's time for your shot. We've got to save the world here and add a few billion to our bank accounts. Well, that's it for last weekend's Stupid. So if you like this sort of news review, or even if you hate this kind of news review, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, make a nasty comment, do something. I'm doing this all for free, so the least you can give me is a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Go for it. It won't hurt. Don't be stupid. Peace out.